Hey everyone, this is Jet7 coming at you with a race review of the 2021 Busch Clash, and it was a clash. That was definitely some clashing going on here in that race. So there's something new on the channel. I'm going to try to do race reviews after every cup race. We're going to start off with the 2021 Busch Clash, which was a fairly decent race overall. I'm going to give races a score. But at the end of the video, like on a 1 to 10 scale or whatever, might come with a catchy slogan, catchy name, something, like for the name of, if this gets big or whatever. I doubt it will, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, talking about the 2021 Busch Clash, you had Ryan Blaney drew the pole for the race in a blind draw. And so, like, very early on, you saw some aggressive moves coming out of some drivers, especially Tyler Reddick. He made a couple 3-wide moves here on the outside at the start and restart. I think restart after the first caution. But he would get up on the outside and make some very daring moves while 3-wide going in and overdriving the corner. Sponsor on the car was I Am Second, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, if you don't watch, he's... sponsor's going to be I Am 20th. I wish there was 22 cars in the race, so the joke would make a little more sense. But yeah, I mean, Tyler Reddick, he was very exciting all night. Reddick actually managed to finish 4th in the race. Very good run for Tyler Reddick. Just overall, Chevy seemed fast. Chase Elliott, he didn't get in there until later on. Of course, we'll talk about him later. But Reddick was up there most of the night. Reddick was up there. Bowman ran in the top 10. Byron, he ran well. Of course, you got the Penske Fords, they all ran up towards the front for a lot of the night. Joe Gibbs, they were first to third at one point. So, the same teams that you kind of expect to be racing up front, they definitely showed that they're very capable of doing the same thing this year. Denny Hamlin actually led like the first 15 laps or so of the race. Pretty just straightforward led him. But yeah, I have notes like next to me that I'm going to look off until I can remember this stuff a little bit easier. Joe Logano actually suffered damage on the front corner of the race car there on the driver's side, down where like near the splitter is. He hit one of the curbs. I think it was the bus stop. No, it was the chicane as you're coming off turn 4 going onto the start-finish line. He hit the curb there and damaged the car. Although it didn't affect his finishing position, he still managed to come out there with a 3rd place run after Busch and Elliott. Yeah, I mean, not too bad for Joe Logano. Kevin Harvick, this was a forgettable race for Kevin Harvick. Spinning out multiple times. He spun out by himself through the dirt lap 3, and then he made some contact on a restart with Ryan Blaney. When the run restarts, Ryan Blaney he overshot the corner going turn 1, and then came up, made some contact with Truex, and then Almirola and Harvick ended up getting spun out. Harvick still thinks he's in the round of 8. So yeah, Harvick had a lot of issues all night. He spun out twice. Didn't finish too well in the race. This was likely a Busch Clash that he would like to forget. Harvick, a 2-time champion of the Busch Clash when they ran it on the oval Daytona circuit. But yeah, definitely one Harvick would like to forget. First caution of the night came out lap 9. That was for dirt on the racetrack. Going through the bus stop there on the back straightaway. A lot of dirt actually got put up on the racetrack just from drivers going through the grass. Dirt got kicked back up on the racetrack. It was affecting a lot of drivers' visibility. Their windshield got a lot of dirt and things on it. You see front bumpers got very dirty. It was very predominant on Martin Truex Jr. He ran up front. He managed to get to the front after that. Which the broadcasters, Gordon Boyer, Mike Joy, they brought it up during the broadcast. Very predominantly displayed on Martin Truex Jr.'s race car. He even said, on the radio that he struggling to see. But just a very dirty car. Even Chase Elliott's, you saw on his too. and that actually affected Truex negatively. We'll get to that later. But yeah, just very dirty track. First caution came out lap 9, so they could clean the racetrack. Which to me, that concerns me for Bristol, because if we're just getting some dirt that's being kicked up and it's affecting the visibility that badly, I can imagine. I'm assuming that they'll do what they did for the trucks and get a dirt guard. Dirt guard will go up on the hood of the car, like it did for the trucks, and it would block out a lot of the dirt that could hit the windshield. Though, how effective that is for the Cup cars, we'll see. Hopefully, Bristol dirt goes off without a hitch, and it's a successful race. But we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, first caution was for dirt. And then you had Denny Hamlin, he pitted with some other drivers. Kyle Busch pitted, Martin Truex Jr., Cole Custer, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, a few guys came down pit road lap 9, trying to get ahead of the competition caution that was going to be out lap 15. Going on to some alternate strategy. Yeah, and then, we brought up the Harvick's spin earlier. He spun out lap 11 right after the restart with the dirt. Just made that contact with Blaney, as we mentioned earlier. Then cars that didn't pit under the lap 9 caution, they came down for that one. Bowman Jones, Tyler Reddick, before the competition caution, they came down pit road lap 15. And then actually coming to lap 16, you had Chase Elliott. Elliott pitted, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch. They all pitted right before the competition caution showed, which broadcasters, they seemed a little off guard. Looked like they got caught off guard with the move coming to pit road, because they mentioned on lap 14, this was your last opportunity to pit, and then you see Elliott, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, they all coming in pit road right as it turns lap 16. But as they mentioned, pit road was still open at that time. They had, I think a lot of it is, maybe at the end of the stage, whenever we would have stage racing, they close the pits with 2 laps to go. Competition caution, they, I guess, don't. I don't think they don't. So yeah, that's why they came down pit road, because, pits were still open at that time. Came down, got their service. Then an very interesting thing happened. So during the competition caution, lap 15, Martin Truex Jr. actually misses the chicane. So Daytona road course, you have to make all the chicanes, you have to make all the turns on the course. If you miss one, then you're penalized. You have to make a complete stop on the racetrack, and then you're able to move forward once you make your take the penalty and come to a complete stop. So under caution, Truex thought that the pace car was going to pick him up. It didn't, and he actually did not go through the chicane like he was supposed to, and had to start the rear, had to serve a penalty. Unfortunate for Martin Truex, but that wasn't the end of his dilemmas for the night, as we will see. So after Truex missed the chicane, they went back, got back green flag, and then Cole Custer. Looked like Cole Custer missed a chicane. He came to a stop, but then the car didn't get refired. So that happened about lap 22. Cole Custer stopped on the track. Broadcasters, they mentioned, this might potentially be a caution if he can't get the car refired. Cole Custer was unable to get the car refired. Ultimately, something broke on the race car. You can see fire coming out the passenger side and the back end of the race car. So something missed there. Car got caught on fire. So yeah, that would bring out the caution again. And then also at the very end, like whenever they were getting ready to go back to green, they had to add a lap. William Byron actually suffered a tire failure, caused some damage there to the driver's side quarter panel. And actually caused some damage to the rim too. Broadcasters mentioned that Picker had to replace the rim and the tire on the car. So yeah, unfortunate for William Byron, although he still finished 5th in the race. Pretty good run for Willie B there. In that beautiful Exalta race car. So then, if we look at that, we're coming to 8 to go. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. So 8 laps to go, you have, who was leading at that time? You had Denny Hamlin up front leading. Then you have Martin Truex Jr. So Truex takes the lead from Denny Hamlin. Ryan Blaney, he passes Truex for second at that point. And then Truex gets loose coming off the chicane on the back straightaway and actually wrecks himself. He takes himself out. And Fox misses this wreck. They were actually showing a replay of Tyler Reddick and Keselowski getting into each other. And then they missed Truex wrecking himself completely. Just very unfortunate night for Martin Truex Jr. He hit the wall pretty hard. And you could just, you could tell how hard of a hit it was by the way the car just got into the front, just slammed right into, way it hit in the front, just slammed right into the back. Very hard hit from Martin Truex Jr. But yeah, just an overall not a very good night for Martin Truex. Could have been very good. He had a winning race car. He could have easily won the race. Just unfortunate circumstances. He missed a chicane. And then he gets a lot of dirt on the car, missed chicane, and then he wrecks himself. Just unfortunate night for Martin Truex Jr. So at that point, you have pit stops coming up. 6 cars decided to stay out. Chase Elliott being one of those cars that stayed out on the pit stop. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, a couple others came down, got some tires, and then we're ready for the restart here. 5 laps to go. So Elliott takes off, gets away from the leaders there. He put some distance between him and Logano, Tyler Reddick, and then you have Ryan Blaney, first car on new tires, coming up through the field. He's able just to pass some cars. He gets up to second. Then he tries to hunt down Chase Elliott, which he does. He gets around Chase Elliott. And at that point, you kind of think it's over. Ryan Blaney, he has fresher tires, so realistically, he should just pull away from Chase Elliott and go on to win the race himself. That didn't happen, obviously. Elliott was able to keep in touch with Ryan Blaney throughout the whole thing. Coming into the final lap, you have a really good battle between 2 very young drivers, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. My top 2 favorite NASCAR drivers. Elliott, of course, being number 1, Ryan Blaney being number 2. Going as they went into turns 1 and 2, you can hear Clint Boris saying it's practically over. Ryan Blaney, he's got a really big lead. And then they go down the back straightaway, and they're just, Fox, they're just like, there's no way Elliott's going to make this ground up. But Blaney had a very tough time getting into the corners. He was very conservative getting into the corners. Likely, it could have been a result of Martin Truex Jr. spinning out. That could have played on him a little bit. Of course, the car might not have been handling so well in the turns. Elliott was very fast, very aggressive getting into the corners. Of course, Elliott also had a lot of straightaway speed too in the car, it looked like. But going down the backstretch chicane, Elliott got very close to Ryan Blaney, and then I thought then they were going to turn, but they didn't. So Elliott, he keeps the gap there, going through turns 3 and 4, and then so what happens then going to the final turn as they're nearing the start finish line. Elliott makes a move going to the inside of Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney kind of comes down a little bit. It looked like on Chase Elliott. Elliott was kind of had the turn in there, and then just hit him, got into him, spun him out. And whenever Elliott spun out Ryan Blaney, Blaney's entire car basically just went right in front of Chase Elliott. It slowed him down a lot. Had Elliott kind of just got into Ryan Blaney, like in the quarter panel, just spun him out to the point where, Blaney's car didn't come back in front of Chase. Elliott, I think, would have still won the race like that. But it slowed Elliott's momentum down so badly. Kyle Busch caught, he ended up catching them, passing them, and winning the race. So Busch was able to steal the Busch Clash away from Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. Again, just 2, young drivers going after the win. It's an exhibition race. No points on the line. It was just racing. I mean, that's what it was. You had 2 drivers going for the same spots. I'm not going to fault Ryan Blaney, not going to fault Chase Elliott. They were doing what they had to do to win. They're both my favorite drivers. Kyle Busch, I don't personally care for him very much. I like his personality. I think he brings a lot he brings a lot to the table. NASCAR needs drivers like Kyle Busch. As far as like seeing him win, I mean it's whatever. I don't personally care. I mean he's all right. I mean he's not as bad as Joe Logano. But anyway, yeah, Kyle Busch ended up winning. Blaney and Chase, they talked it out. You know, they both said it sucked. You know, neither one of them were in victory lane. They're very good friends. But I mean, it sucked, you know, from a fan's perspective. But you know, I've been trying to look up these races a bit objectively. Even though I do have my favorites, and just focusing on the race overall as the race itself, and not giving hating on the race because of who won. That's not fair to the race itself, because we, even though your driver didn't win the race, we still had a very good race overall. In the beginning, I was a little worried because, you know, we just saw Denny Hamlin. The beginning of the race, it was Denny Hamlin, and that was about it. Hamlin pulled away from Ryan Blaney. Looked like Blaney caught him a little bit, but then Hamlin just pulled away. So, I mean, that's what it was. It was the Denny Hamlin show for about the first 15 or so laps. I mean, you know, the Daytona Road Course proved to be a good race. I think it was a good move. Well, I mean, you can't really say yet until we have a few of these, because I mean, this finishes like this don't happen very often. We saw a very similar finish like this at the Charlotte Roval the first time they went, and since then Charlotte Roval's been a hit. It's been a great, fantastic race to watch. Very good race to go to in person. But, you know, Charlotte Roval's been great. I thought the Daytona Road Course last year was a bit stale, even though my favorite driver did win the race. I mean, but it was good overall. Last year, you know, it was fine. Look forward to them going back this year. Hopefully the race, you know, works out this year. But overall, I'm going to give the Busch Clash, probably, I'd give it a 7 out of 10, you know, if I'm going to score this. Just because, you know, the beginning was so stale. It's not a lot going on. But then the action definitely picked up as the race went on. That finish just really made the race. Had it not been for that finish, this race would probably got maybe a 5. But I think it's 7, 7.5. It could go either way. You know, 7 or 8. You know, I'd give or take. But that's about what we're going to rate this race. Well, that was good. I mean, but it was better than last year's. It looked a lot more professional than what last year's race did. Last year's race was just a cluster truck. But yeah, looked looked a lot better. More professional style racing. I love watching Talladega and Daytona races because they're so close, 2-3 wide the entire time. I don't like watching a lot of cars get tore up, just because it takes away so much from the racing itself. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, my thoughts on this race. If you have a different opinion, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Please remember, this is just my opinion. If you didn't like the race, that's fine. I don't care. You know, everybody has opinions on these things. I'm just giving to you the way I saw it. But if you liked the video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.